I can tell you one thing at this like point in my life, like life's not going good if I work like a Sunday brunch. You know, like if.
And just like that, we are back with chapter 50-something. I don't even know. We have a guest on the podcast today, my buddy Patrick, my partner in crime. I would say a soldier that I went into battle with, as I would say anyone who I worked in the restaurant industry with for a time, for a season, seasonally. He was with me in Salem, Massachusetts at the Village Tavern this past October, and what a season it was. We're going to talk restaurants. We're going to talk everything. We're going to shoot the shit. We just got blasted, had a couple slices of pie, so let's just get into it. We were talking about just podcasting and how, I can't believe how easy it was to pick up in a sense, too, and watch a few YouTube videos and be able to figure this out. Yeah, it's super frustrating that you can't go ask somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing, but there's so much access to information at this stage of the game.
That's what's crazy. Like, anything you need is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Irregardless of what it is, from snaking a toilet to, like, rebuilding an engine of a car. Like, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can figure it out. And it's weird now to live in that universe where it's kind of on you to be whatever you want to be, right?
It's at your fingertips, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
there's really no excuse.
I have a buddy up in Maine who redid his entire condo. Like, he had no construction experience whatsoever.
Just went into it.
And just YouTube. And literally, like, everything's to code. It's ridiculous. It looks perfect. And he did it all himself.
It is nuts. It's a whole different universe. And I don't think the institutions have caught up to it yet. I think that's really, like, some of the change that we're seeing in society, too, is, we're realizing we can do this shit on our own now. What have we been paying all you guys for? And wait a minute, what have you been doing? Because now that we just built a house, we know it doesn't take 17 years. How come it takes you guys 17 years to pave a road, right?
But I guess, that's business. That's big government for it,
I know.
How much does that road cost?
But I think there's been a cognitive dissonance there that's starting to come in reality, be like, what's going on? All right.
People are catching up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But we have a little more direct access and insight into how much I love talking about the restaurant industry because I love it so much. It's something, do you want to tell people you got into the restaurant industry? How about we do it this way? Talk about the different restaurants we've worked at, because there's a bunch of different styles and a couple of the different types of people that we run into in the restaurant industry, because I don't think most people definitely have worked in it and they don't have the appreciation for it that I do.
Yeah, I guess you never have an appreciation for anything until you do it, I guess.
Yes.
I don't appreciate like hauling garbage as much as I should, I guess, because I've never had to do it, so.
But it's a little weird because it is something that people interact with. You have people that go out and eat and have never considered what it's like. Like, they're out there eating and they've never considered what it's like to drop a meal off to somebody, right?
It's background noise, just like so many things. You take the mailman for granted. You've never delivered. It's just. Yeah. At the end of the day, it sounds awful, but we're the help. That's what it is. Like, you come out to eat because you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean, you don't want to have to think. So some people just want you background. Like, they don't even, even think about you. And I don't think that's them being rude necessarily, as some people are just like oblivious to it because they've never done it. It's the experience
that they're looking for, because there's other people where you are the entertainment now.
Absolutely. A couple being married for 30 years and they're out to dinner and it's just they want like a third body to talk to.
Yep.
And
we're just looking for anything else to switch it up, or some people that like expect the waiter or the waitress there to know everything about the food. Right? Some people are looking for fine dining experience, and you're like, whoa, where do you think you are here? You kind of have to, you read the energy coming in, decide how you're going to
Oh, 1,000%.
Deal with it?
Like walking up to a table, like you can tell if it's like, okay, I have to put on dinner and a show here. Or it's like, all right, these people want me to be background.
Yes.
And like in and out as little as possible. And I find like that's the difference between a good and a bad server is being able to like read the table. I feel like.
Figure out exactly what they're looking for. Yes. Yeah. I just, it's as I've begun to think about the world in terms of energy, frequency, vibration, it's made all of the decisions in my life start to make more sense. There's a reason that I love going to the restaurant because I have to bring a certain energy when I get there because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. It's the only place in the world where I still have anything could happen. When you're in the restaurant, anything could happen. And everywhere else in the world, I'm so used to. There's only so many options when you go out to eat now, right? How long have you lived in Salem, right? There's only X amount of things that you can do. There's only with the polarization in the world, there's Democrats and Republicans. It's very rare to meet somebody who's completely unique themselves a different way. I don't know. Maybe we just got way too blasted.
I'm pretty stoned.
That's part of the fun of the restaurant industry too, is all the fucking people you meet because goddamn everybody's got their something that they're coming from, running from, or in the middle of, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And just people from every walk of life, like a Village Tavern, I'd imagine like every Central American country was represented, probably some South American countries. Those dishwashers were from Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Those two bus boys or food runners.
A lot of languages in the kitchen.
Were they Bulgaria?
Albania?
Albania,
the Albanians?
Yeah. So it's wild that it's kind of a melting pot. And I kind of feel it's like the last melting pot. And it's a good place to hide, I guess, if you're hiding from life. Like,
for sure.
But then you get caught up in it and then, like, you just, I don't know. It's easy to get stuck in it.
It's the gig economy before the gig economy. You know what I mean?
In what sense?
You can pick it up, too. We kind of talked about this a little bit. We could pick it up and put it down, and you can move somewhere else and pick it up.
It's like a trade.
Yeah,
like if
like
you can
a
either
trade?
do it or you can't. And if you can do it anywhere because it's all the same. People eat and people drink, and that's what it is.
And you
know?
Can find that anywhere.
1,000%.
And you can find somebody to hire. You might not. Maybe you worked a higher end place before, but you can go down the ladder. Or if you're down the ladder, you can figure out how to put shine shit a little bit better.
Oh, 1,000%. I've done everything from fine dining all the way down. But like, I can tell you one thing at this like point in my life, like life's not going good if I work like a Sunday brunch. Like if my life's at the point where I'm back to working like a Sunday brunch, things aren't going good.
That's a funny way to put it.
Yeah.
I talked about this last summer, but 10 years ago, man, the way that people change in their lives is so funny. 10 years ago, coming out of college, I, got a business degree, and I would have been so afraid if you were to tell me at 35 years old I'd be waiting tables. Like, oh shit, my life went so wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess no father ever holds their newborn and like looking at him and like flashing over like, medical school or going to law school, like being a waiter at 35.
But here we are doing a podcast. What day is today? I don't know what day of the week it is. The flexibility that we have in our life, people yearn for that. People are tied down to their mortgage, their kids, their wives, their pets. They can't even take the vacation that they can afford because they don't have any flexibility to try new things. They're so tied to everything.
But I guess the grass is always greener, or sure, they're tied to it, but like what's better, having a 401k and like good health benefits and a dental plan, or having the flexibility of the restaurant? And you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no perfect.
Two sides to
there's
the coin.
No perfect.
That's what it is.
There is no perfect.
And
there's
I feel
trade-offs everywhere.
People who like function well in life tend to go more towards the 9 to 5. And I don't want to say fuck ups, but people who don't work so well in the 9 to 5 tend to go to the restaurant industry.
For sure. That's why we're the most interesting people, though, because we don't fit inside that.
That's
that
what
box.
I'm 1,000%. It's for people who can't sit at the desk and go 9 to 5. Or I guess the exception to that is like kids in college going to school, where this is just like, I guess,
haven't been put in the box yet.
Not even that, but I guess like that's what their career is there, and this is a job to them, where I guess if you're doing this in your 30s, it's not a job, it's a career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some people early on have it as a job, but a lot of field actors and writers and everything and poets are like, oh, I'm a poet. It's like, but if you're making all your money from waiting tables, you're a fucking waiter. Yeah. You know, like, sure, that's your dream and that's cool, but like, if that's what you're doing 40 hours a week, like, that's what you're doing.
You're a waiter, buddy.
You're a waiter.
And I think I have a unique view at it because I understand the economy so well, just because I studied it. I guess we didn't really ever talk about that. I studied economics, and I basically did it for 20 years. And I say I retired when I left my last job. I quit, and I became a waiter again, and started this podcast. But
no, is that like a 9 to 5? What were you doing? Like,
so I worked for the Federal Reserve Bank before, and this last job was at Salem 5. I had a $3 billion commercial portfolio that myself and a small team operated the operation side of that portfolio, which would be anything that happens after the paperwork is done.
So as far as like investing that money, like they put that in your bank, and then they wanted to make money off it. They wanted the bank to invest.
Salem 5 makes two types of loans, right? Residential loans, well, largely two types of loans, or commercial loans.
Okay.
Commercial is going to be anything to a business. So they have a portfolio of businesses that they do business with, that they have an ongoing relationship. Sometimes that's for developing real estate. Sometimes that's a line of credit because you are a merchandiser, right? And every 90 days you sell merchandise. So you need an operating line of credit to continue to stay in business. Maybe you're a nonprofit. Maybe you're an educational institution. All of those have their own real estate holdings that they need to hold somewhere. Those would all be commercial loans. Those loans typically run on 3 to 5 year terms, just commercial wise. They get rewritten all the time because our commercial clients are hypothetically our best clients. So as interest rates change, they're also our most savvy clients. They're hip to the fact that interest rates going down would be, hey, I need to pay less money on my real estate. So it's a more labor intensive than your typical Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac home 30-year fixed mortgage, which would be like the consumer side of things.
Okay, so like if I went in for the home loan, it'd be a fixed mortgage at whatever it is.
Yeah,
but if I wanted to start a business, I wanted to start a concrete business. And I needed, $250,000 line of credit.
Yes.
Like, you're the guy. I get you.
So there's a guy in front. I was the math guy behind the scenes. So there's a guy in front of me that's the salesman you're going to talk to. When he's finished selling you a bunch of shit, it's my job to figure out how we implement all of that. So I did that with a small team, right? Me and a couple of peers, and I wasn't above anybody or anything. But we had $3 billion worth of loans.
No, is that all of the Salem 5s? You didn't work out of one branch.
That was just the headquarters.
Headquarters
is right on Essex Street.
Oh, okay.
Same street.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't get off. And I drove past 3 restaurants that I've worked at on the way in here.
Where else have you worked?
Brody's in Seaport. Murphy's, which is now a Mexican joint across from the gas station.
Oh, Casa Tequila.
Yeah.
It might be. That was
Murphy's.
How long ago was that?
Fucking 10 years maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 5 years ago. Somewhere they sold it and it changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, so different.
Yeah, just like any other town, I'd imagine Salem's just packed with restaurants. And it's amazing how many restaurants can thrive. I mean, granted,
That's
this
new.
is Salem.
That's
and
new. So this whole thing is kind of new. So in 2012, I would say Salem was an industry where you would have people that come in. The joke used to be the last week in October. If you were from Salem and you had a job somewhere else, you would take the last week of October off, because that's when the traffic would come, that's when the tourists would come. And in 2012, they started expanding. For whatever reason, there was some political structure that became a lot more friendly to tourism because they realized it could be a driver for revenue. So they allowed businesses to expand. They expanded liquor licenses. There didn't used to be as many liquor licenses in Salem. Then they said, wow, how about we offer a few more liquor licenses and maybe trying to attract some more people. So all of this like business expansion, the wharf, and all these restaurants was kind of driven by some political action. So kind of when I moved into town in 2012, a bunch of these restaurants opened up.
Which is great, I think, because not only, you know, jobs and for the economy, but look at these small places on Essex Street, like those T-shirt shops. So they'll like that 4 months. Like,
so they've
how many
always been here,
T-shirts
but
do you
now,
think is selling like in February?
Yeah, nothing.
Just like any like port town, I guess, like Portland, Maine.
Yes,
or I'd imagine
exactly.
like anywhere like, you know,
Bar Harbor, Maine. I would say these seasonal resorts. Cape Cod, I think, is a great like contemporary, like peer of what we're talking about. Yeah. Gloucester, maybe.
Anywhere, yeah. Anywhere where it's just like, oh, the
Summer,
nice weather,
seasonal.
people on 95 coming up, you know. How many people I waited on over the summer that were like, oh, we're going to Bar Harbor, or we're going to Portland, and we're just driving through, or we're even just in town for 3 days in business, for a business in Boston, and we're this close to Salem, and we had a couple hours, so we took the train
It's
up.
now a destination that it didn't used to be.
Huge.
Big
people
time.
all over the world.
And you can obviously see that because we wouldn't be here working in these restaurants if there wasn't this expansion. And it's great for the tourism because what was that 1 week off people used to take, like if they were working somewhere else, has become not only the full month of October, but I mean, all summer long we're seeing people from across the country. And we get like a really unique view too into kind of what's going on in the country, I think.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, because just, you know, I remember at one point, you know, it's probably July, and, you know, in my 6-table section, every single table was from Tennessee.
Yeah.
From different parts. They didn't know each other, but
Which
all
is
6
wild.
tables were from Tennessee. And I'm like, outside on the patio, I remember once or twice having like, you know, 3 out of my 5 tables being from like the Toronto area.
Yes.
You know, and like you said, it's such a destination. It's like, oh, my daughter wanted to come here so bad. She's always wanted to come here. Or even, you know, grown women being like, I've just always wanted to come to Salem.
Hocus Pocus, too. Did
That was-
Hocus
I can't
Pocus
imagine.
must
Game
have played
changer.
a role.
Game changer.
And
I'd
because it
imagine.
was 30 years ago, so now these people are at an age where they have money, maybe a family, and they have some freedom to travel. And this is like just, I guess, a cool spot that's just parked somewhere in their consciousness in the back of their childhood or something.
Everywhere. I mean, when I was living out in Seattle, I had a lot of people tell me, like, for whatever reason, they always wanted to come to Boston. You know, like, we don't know what it is, but people just like...
So many movies that we filmed here. I don't know what it is. We've brainwashed people into thinking we're interested.
yeah, it's more of the same. But just like anywhere, people see something or they read a book when they're little and they just get fascinated. Like, oh, I've wanted to go to Paris since I was like 8, you know, or something like that. Somebody's always got something. So I remember, you know, being kind of right in downtown Salem here. I remember just a woman walking by during the summer, and I clearly heard her say, like, I can't believe I'm eating candy corn in Salem, Mass. And just the joy in her voice, like, made me so happy. Because I was like, damn, she's probably wanted to come here forever, and now she's, like, here eating candy corn. I was like, good for her.
And you can
know?
tell when you get to those tables, too, that this is their fucking Super Bowl. You don't know why, but it's just like, this is what they've been waiting for, and it's fun to be able to bring that energy, too.
It's fun, yeah absolutely. This is it.
It's a ride. It's like a wave, and I mean, for people that don't know, the restaurant industry is super transient. People are coming in and out of it all the time. It's a quick cash industry where you can make some money, and there's not a lot of those left. There used to be a lot more of them. Caddying used to be a fucking big thing, and I don't think that's as much of a thing
but
anymore.
I mean, caddying back in like the '60s when like my dad did it. Like it was a 10-year-old holiday.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Like, but now caddy, like you got to know golf. Like I can't read a green.
Correct.
Like I don't think I'd be much of a caddy.
But nobody carries cash anymore. It's there's very few under the table jobs that are commonplace.
Sure, but that's changing too, huge in the restaurant industry. I think by next summer, Village Tavern was you'd get tipped out that night.
True.
You'd walk with your cash. And that was the first restaurant in a decade I've been in where my tips didn't go on my check, or at least my credit card tips.
Yeah,
most
true.
places, but like I haven't gotten cash in a long time. And I think that's a dying breed because it's like I was surprised with the amount of people who paid cash
oh my God,
at the Village Tavern. And I just think it's because people are on vacation. They bring cash just as cash.
Yep.
Most restaurants I've worked at, I might see one table pay cash a night. So restaurants, like if nobody's paying cash, why we're gonna go to the bank every day to bring in cash so we can tip everybody out?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
and that has to be a level too. Like to some degree, the higher end restaurant, it would be. I have to think less classy to be carrying cash.
What the? Yeah.
$1,000. What are you gonna pay? $1,000 bill in cash?
Well, I was gonna say when you're going to a 3-star Michelin restaurant and it's like $900, then wine.
Yeah.
It's like that's going on a black Amex.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The company, you're not paying for it anyways. Corporate is.
But
Fuck
whoever
you.
is, but it's not cash. It's
you.
just not cash. So that's what it is. It's like nobody's paying cash, so why have it on hand?
Yes.
So I guess it makes sense. And
that's true, and it makes sense for the tourism. Everybody has cash because they've taken money out.
just in case something happens with their cards,
Yeah.
whoever, especially a lot of Canadians have cash, a lot of foreigners just, switching money over, so it makes sense that, I'd imagine Cape Cod sees the same, like a lot of cash.
Yeah, Bar Harbor.
Yeah,
same
anywhere
shit.
up the coast, down the coast,
I couldn't believe the amount. I went up to Bar Harbor this summer. I couldn't believe the amount of places that were cash only. Like, could you imagine running a restaurant and being cash only in 2025?
I mean, if you're kind of there's a couple benefits. If you're the only restaurant around and you have an ATM machine, you're getting 50% of.
Yes.
And how much money you can just keep from the government.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have it so it's not like, oh, you're cash only and there's 3 other restaurants within walking distance, so people are just going to leave. But if you're the only game in town and you're cash only, it's kind of a dick move. But the one thing I have never understood, like with gas stations, you see it $5 minimum if you want to use your debit card. Because I think like American Express and Visa, for each time I swipe my card at a store, that store gets charged like 25 cents for the transaction. And American Express is the most expensive. It's like 50 or whatever. So I can't even see how like cash only would be a benefit. Because as much, sure, you're eating 50 cents, but like what you're making, unless like your budget's that razor thin that like credit card transactions are going to smoke you, then I guess you have a bigger problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be so rigged at this stage of the game. They shouldn't be charging you 50 cents to swipe a credit card. Everything should.
But it's a business,
it's
like
a monopoly on the game.
Yeah, but it's a business too. Like credit card companies got to make, like.
Yeah. That's where no competition in the marketplace should. Competition in the marketplace should drive it down so we get it to a lower price point because there should be enough people competing because it shouldn't cost that much because it should be so fucking easy.
4 major, it's Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover.
Yeah.
And every debit cards and everything else are Visa or MasterCard. Like that's it. This only game in town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is crazy, but I couldn't believe how many cash businesses, because I want to say almost 50-50 when I was up in Bar Harbor. No. Cash only. And restaurants being cash only, it was just weird, because I don't think I've been to that many, especially where Bar Harbor's like super high end compared to Salem, Massachusetts. Like the highest end of the highest end. I don't know. I talked about it on the podcast. I don't know if I told you. We're sitting at dinner. And it's a nice little Italian place, but there's only so many options. So the real ritzy people are rubbing elbows with people like me that are just down on the dock. And there's this kid who's going off to college, and he is simultaneously inviting this woman who I presume to him is some grandmother-like figure, a great aunt, inviting her to his graduation the next time that he anticipates seeing this broad, and taking away whatever financial arrangement his parents have with her at the same time, over an appetizer without even missing like calamari. It was so impressive. And he's going to Tufts and playing lacrosse or fucking soccer or sailing or something, you know, one of those schools. And he's just like, so, you know, like, I know back in 1970 that, you know, mother said that you were entitled to these things, but clearly, you know, my father's intentions were never for it to be ongoing this long. It was wild. And then for the waiter to come up and be like, cash only is weird.
Yeah. I don't see the benefit to it, I guess. As like a huge restaurant, like...
Yeah.
And they obviously must have had an ATM in there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They must have had like 3, because I'd imagine like the volume Baja gets in the summer up there, you know, is so much volume that like I don't think one ATM would be enough, because nobody's carrying cash like you said. So
they're hiding all this shit from the government.
Everybody walking in the restaurant.
Nothing. All the restaurants are kind of look like they're in houses anyways. So maybe when the IRS comes by, they take all the tables in the back.
No, it's just fun. We're just feeding, and they just leave us. You know, the food's free, and they leave a donation. These are donations. This wasn't a sale. This wasn't a transaction.
So the thing that I noticed starkly too about Salem is the energy that we bring when we are going to the tables. Just even the fact that we talked about this is your Super Bowl and we're willing to accommodate that is energy I did not get from the people in Bar Harbor. They hated me for being there. They were offended I was in their restaurant. They were pissed off that I was going to like use their napkins and then throw them in their trash.
You were bothering them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of the signs said no ice cream, no drinks in here, like no dogs, like no talking, like no yelling, no kids. One of them said no kids.
I kind of like that no kids thing. I kind of like that, to be honest with you. There was a place in Portland, Maine that, cash only, speaking of it, right downtown. And the woman was pretty famous because our kid was being a pain in the ass. And she threw the mother of the kid out, you know, and was just like, yo, if this is the problem, kick rocks. And the mother was like, huh? She's like, yeah, this is my restaurant.
I love that.
I don't want, and I think that's fantastic. And it's like, if you can't control your child in a restaurant or anywhere for that matter, you shouldn't have them out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's a
if your kid can go out to a restaurant, like, ask yourself, would I want to sit next to my kid at a restaurant?
Yes.
And if the answer is yes, take your kid out to eat. You know what I mean? But the answer is no, maybe you get takeout.
And we get it sometimes. Yeah, sometimes there's like you're not expecting it or the kid's crazy, but that's why, just so you know, it's my fucking restaurant. I reserve the right to change my I'm having a bad day today. No kids. No fucking kids. I can kick you out of here whenever I want. Don't forget that I'm in charge. Sure, the customer's always right. To a degree.
No, that shit went out in the fucking 80s. The customer's always right. The customer hasn't been right, in my opinion, in fucking a couple years. You know, like...
The customer doesn't know what the fuck the customer wants. That's another insight you get in the restaurant industry, too, is somebody says, go sell this. And you're in charge of getting rid of that thing because you realize people are malleable. You can talk them into whatever you want. Okay, we have 6 steaks left, and they're going to go bad tomorrow. Sell these 6 steaks, and you'll sell them.
The seafood's already gone bad, and like we can't afford food cost loss on this.
Oh yes.
But yeah, just like anything else with certain people, you know, you can paint that picture of like, you know, this prime rib, perfectly marbled, you know, yada yada, and some people are like, you know what, that sounds delicious, you know, but. I don't know. I guess
there's a cognitive dissonance I think people have in their mind with food where people think that, oh, no, this is food. Nobody's going to do anything bad to this, or nobody would do that to my food, or I do things this way. Because sometimes you come out and even the way you touch a glass, people are like, oh, could I have a different glass? And you're like, oh, well... You're not going to like that we just dropped your burger on the floor and then threw it on the grill, lady. But yeah, I'll get you another glass because I touched the rim, right? I don't think people have that understanding.
The herpes grab. Yeah. No, it's, once again, I think just people are kind of oblivious. Just don't even take into account. They've never worked there. They don't have to take it because it's not their day-to-day, so they just go to dinner. And it's just like, they just want you to, bring the right food to their table.
The way that they like it.
And
the way
most
that
people are
they've
super
always
happy
had
without that. Then that's it, like.
Yeah.
So, but it's so much more than that now.
Yeah, it's just the whole industry has changed. And I think it's even it's nuts to think about where we're going, because that's a direction, even getting rid of tips. Although Trump, I think he said he's not going to tax tips at all.
Well,
so that could be getting back more into the cash industry side of things. But
potential, yeah, I know that's what was said. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I don't know if it's like a certain amount, but I mean, that'd be amazing if it was just like any tips you get as a waiter, you don't pay any tax on. But on the other hand, I can kind of see not being a waiter, kind of being pissed, like, why doesn't this dickhead have to pay his taxes? Like...
Yeah, well, we've been poor for a long time, motherfucker, and we're also getting your food, so...
For sure. But,
don't ask too many questions, man. Let me get on the inside. I've never been on the inside of one of these grifts. Let me just get on it for one little bit. Just one little while under Donald Trump. Yeah! Let me get my beak wet.
Yeah, no. Oh, see how the other half was.
Yes! No taxes! Oh... I don't even know what that would be like, because I've never made a federal minimum wage, because I used to get paid like 50 cents an hour, and that was what going rate was, and it was all tips. Now we get $6.
My first serving job, I want to say, was in 2001, and $2.25 an hour was the original. I remember getting checks for like 17 cents, or even like, void, this is not a check, because like my taxes ate up all of it, so like it was in the negative.
Exactly.
Like at the end of the week, I owe money.
Yeah.
But that's always been the case. When I worked in Phoenix, and it was like $4, and then from there I went to Seattle, and in Seattle it was $10 an hour for servers plus tips. And that was like insane. 2012, so that was bananas. So yeah, like
they take care of their people out there, but that's the inflation. What's the cost of living? Because that's the thing too. It varies so much where you're going.
Oh, 1,000%. Like I've heard horror stories of people working down south in like the Bible Belt, and like in lieu of tips, like just like getting Christian material.
Oh my
or like,
God!
People literally like doing the math like 15% before tax.
Get out of here!
And it's like, so I don't know how people are able to survive down there, but I mean, if the cost of living is dirt cheap down south, I guess it's all relative, like you said.
Yes, I guess it all does come out in the wash. The one thing about working in sales that we get a taste of at the lowest level, just in the restaurant industry, is tips. Because when the restaurant increases the price of things, you see that immediately in real time. So things can change quick.
1,000%. Even, if everything goes up, even $1, say.
Yeah.
And it's like, an extra $10. That's an extra $2 per table. Mm-hmm. You have 15 tables a night. That's going to add up.
Yep.
But one thing that kills me now is everywhere you go, people want a tip from you. Like, I go to the convenience store and, like, get a gallon of milk, and they spin the screen around. Or they're like, it's like add tip. And I feel like people are hating that so much that, like, we're going to be on the losing end of that. Because people are going to be so sick of tipping, they're not even going to be able to differentiate between us and like...
I completely agree with you. I think that we've reached a nice place where 20 is a minimum now. I think as a society, most people recognize like 20% is the bare minimum for tipping waiters.
1,000%, yeah.
Which is good. But yes, all of the other people that are asking for tips, you don't know what I did, motherfucker. Like, you get paid like you get paid to be doing this.
And not even that. Like, you didn't fucking do anything. You literally rang up my milk.
Yes.
That's it. And, like, I had to swipe my own card.
Yes.
Like.
People don't see the behind the scenes that goes into it. When you get to the restaurant, it's not like we're just sitting there waiting for the customer, and all the ice is in the ice machine, and all of the mats are laid out, and all of the silverware is clean, and we don't have to scrub the floors, and all those drinks that you spill, and all this gross shit that we have to pick up. That has to happen before you get there, before we can sell you those things, and you can say, oh, it was so easy for you to come over with that drink because everything was just there. That's because we put all the shit there outside in the heat, all right? And we made this nice fucking shady spot, and we wiped it down 73 times. Okay, lady?
For it, yeah. And, I don't know where, like, tipping came from. Like how that was decided nationwide that like this is
a bunch of businesses didn't want to pay their fucking employees and work it into the cost of their goods.
1,000%, that's exactly how it happens. But how did like the general public agree? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if we could go back in time and we could like fucking take a snippet from 1793 where they're like, maybe
you tell me
give
I
it
got to
to
pay
me.
an extra 15 cents because you're telling me your boss doesn't want to give you a fair wage, so I'm paying for my mail and your wage.
When the first salesman met the first sucker, No,
it just blows my mind that like I don't know how that started because I believe I've heard that tips is to ensure proper service.
Oh,
it's like because it used to be I believe that like your first round you bought at a bar, you tip the bartender then to be like here's extra money. When my beer's empty, get on it. It's almost like a bribe.
Kids would not be able to relate to us at all because I feel like we've come down so far downhill. Because tips for proper service, that's when everybody understood that there was proper service. Like there were steps to service because everybody had a meal at night, like with their family, or they went out, and every restaurant did that. We're so far from that.
No,
We're
yeah.
so far from that place that I can't even believe that I can remember like, oh, yeah, that's right. This was for doing a good job because you were supposed to do all of these things that were just expected of you, of a human being. We now expect such little of our human counterparts that when you come in and you just don't shit on the walls, we're like, can I get a tip for this?
Yeah, the bars become pretty low.
It's just eroded down here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there was some semblance of a society, and people would look at each other and reward each other for like, yeah, this guy's fucking busting his ass. We were going to give him 15% no matter what, but we're going to give him 25 now.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I find I get a fair amount of those people.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I find some of the coolest people I've waited on are like just blue-collar people. Like a construction worker and his wife were out to dinner.
Yeah.
She gets a glass of wine, he gets a
company.
bottle of Bud, and it's just like, this guy works hard for his money, so like he appreciates your hard work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something that's changed over the years too, is because I don't look at the tips at all with the credit cards.
Oh,
only if it's cash and like only if I notice. So
I won't even count cash. I don't even look. It is what it is. Like if it's a shitty tip, like it's not going to change if I look at it.
I just look at it to make sure it covers it because I've been burned.
Oh, cash wise,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, if you've been burned enough times where like, oh, you didn't even cover the bill? Come on, man. I understand you're not going to leave me a tip, but cover the fucking... Because that's got to come from somewhere too, and it's always coming from me.
It's going to be on me.
Yeah.
And... yeah, that sucks. And I'd imagine some people, you get a really cool customer, and it's just like, they probably thought they left an extra 20.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Sometimes,
so it's
for
on purpose.
sure. Sometimes it's kids. Sometimes it's going to happen and you don't give a fuck.
And like what sucks is like, a good management, like a good restaurant, if that happened, should always cover it on their end. You should always be able to go to them and be like, hey, this is what happened. It should never come from you. But like sometimes like... Or, like, if there's a screw up in the kitchen, whatever, like, it should always be on the restaurant, but sometimes pride gets in the way if I fucked up and be like, I know if I went and told them, they'd cover it, but then I'd have to tell them I fucked up and forgot to put that order in, so it's like, I'll eat the cost of that,
because there is a social cost to someone knowing you made a mistake.
That's
1,000%. There is, and no matter how many times people say, like, oh, we're not going to knock you for it, but you're going to know. And that is going to be in your brain, and we can't remove that from your brain.
1,000%. And once again, any good manager should be like, and understand mistakes are going to happen. Yeah. That's just the cost of doing business.
Oh, and that's the only way. If you don't have a manager, if you're afraid to go to your manager because something went wrong, your restaurant is going to completely erode.
Get a new job.
Yeah.
Get a
new fucking life.
Case. Like,
get a new fucking life. If you're penny pinching to that degree, you just can't.
But yeah, I mean,
the restaurant will. There's too much going on.
It's boring to feel like what is it, like 10% of restaurants make it after like 2 years or something. Like the odds are so stacked against.
And I'll tell you who's failing: the people that are focusing on those little things instead of focusing on how the fucking whole restaurant. Because when you don't have a staff that feels comfortable, I don't know what it is. Someone's gonna fucking rob you, man.
No, for sure. It comes down from the top. Like if people come to work and like they like their work environment, the manager's cool, their owner's a good dude, everybody's working together. People are excited to be there, and that's going to show you on the floor because people like their effort's going to be so much more. They're going to be in good moods.
Well, less mistakes are going to happen. Your customers are going to be happier. They're going to buy more drinks. These are your sales department.
Energy of the restaurant is going to be different.
And they're creating that for you, which you can't do as an owner without these staff.
I've always looked at it as servers or independent contractors who just happen to be selling your product.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
You want me to be happy because the happier I am, the more of your shit I'm going to sell.
Yes.
But on the other hand, even if I'm mad at my boss, I'm still going to sell because it means more tips for me. So I guess,
our incentives are aligned.
Yeah, he's going to get his any way you look at it,
Yes. Whenever you can, that's why the restaurant industry works, is because to some degree our incentives are aligned with the ownership and the management of the business. We all want things to do well. We all want people here. We all want to be making money. I'm the bartender at the coolest bar in town if this shit takes off. Which there's social credit to that.
That's in the bartender world. It's which is like obviously much cooler than servers. Bartenders are always much cooler. But yeah, if you're bartending and like you're at the happening place, of course, that's when you're out like on Monday nights with other bartenders at like the local dive bar where bartenders hold court. And they're like, damn, that guy works at wherever, like that's a good feeling, like you can take pride in that.
I think when you're in a 9 to 5, at least I've seen in the corporate environment, there is a degree where you say, I want to do the least amount of work that I'm doing or that I can get done for my pay.
Of course, if you're getting salary, it's like let me get this straight. I'm gonna make $2,000 this week, whether I do the most amount of work ever or fucking jack shit.
Yes,
and you're still gonna pay me this, right? And so I guess
you get a lot of freeloaders in that environment.
It's pretty easy to slide down to the bare minimum.
Are not aligned.
Non-existent.
If you were getting paid bonuses in the 9 to 5 world only based on your output as your product, guess what, motherfucker? You guys would be creating a lot more products and like doing more banking or whatever. Selling more widgets.
Yeah.
Okay. And the restaurant industry really is aligned like that for everybody to kind of the chefs maybe and the back of the house gets fucked a bit.
Yeah, I've always felt awful for, chefs back there because, those guys kill it. I'll be the first one to admit I could never do that on a Friday night, like working a grill station. I couldn't even do like garmage. I couldn't even plate salad dessert like on a busy Friday night. No way. Like my mind can't like work that way. Like mine's for the front of the house, like keeping everything in line. Like, okay, these 2 salads, one without onion, one without peppers, need to go with this. And then this and 15 other things. Like I tip my hat. That shit's impressive, dude. And those guys don't make dick.
We're all juggling back there, but that is a different type of juggle. I think it's a little bit different because you can let your emotions out. Like chefs can huck plates at the wall.
No, absolutely. You're not on stage.
Yes, yes, that's what it is. You're not on stage 100% of the time. So you can lose your shit to a degree, but at the end of the day, you have to get it right. You're the only one that has to get it completely right. If the chef, maybe the bartender less to a less degree because you can.
Oh my God! Like so many times, this drink's a little, too much sour mix, or can I get a little, this is a little strong or whatever. And like people don't tend to mind getting their drink remade.
No, but if like you cooked a fucking steak and you wanted it medium rare and it's medium well.
And I get that because everybody at your table if you can judge how close tables are. If one person's plate gets taken back to get recooked, if everybody starts eating, they don't really give a shit about the other person, But if everybody
this isn't the first time Sally sent something back.
Not
okay?
even that, but it's just like we're not going to be polite and wait for her food.
True, there's just so much you can read the energy of every table.
Or
What's
people
going on?
decide to wait because they're polite, and then their food's getting cold.
Yeah, it's just you've ruined the night. There's a lot more responsibility on the chef for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, anytime I fuck up, I blame it on the kitchen.
Well, we're the middlemen. We're the middlemen in all of this.
I forgot to put that steak in. Oh my God.
It's the bartender.
No, I took a look at that steak. It wasn't to my liking, so I'm having the chef remake it.
It's the waiter.
I'm terribly sorry about that.
It's the chef. It's the bartender. It's the manager. It's the hostess.
Never my fault.
It's the dish kid. It's the bar back.
It's never my fault.
But they all want it to be their fault too, because we're taking in the money, and who am I tipping out with this tip? I'm tipping all of you guys with it too. So you want me blaming everybody else because that's the guest's best experience as they're paying the bill too, because I'm taking the money.
Once again, you can judge a place on if everybody's rowing in the same direction.
Yes.
We're all here. We don't have to like each other. We can hate each other, but we're all here to make money, and that's what it is. And it's money you can make in 8 hours. I couldn't make with any other job,
when you put the hourly, that's where again, we talk about people don't really get the restaurant industry. I don't think people put an hourly rate on it. It gets well up in 50, 60, 75 bucks, and that's just us, Salem, October.
No, absolutely. I mean,
never mind some of these other places that you could go and be a waiter. That's why they make TV shows about it on Bravo, right?
There's, professional people who work, in New York City who work at really nice restaurants who make, $100,000, $110,000 a year. If every table you have is minimum for 2 tasting menus is $500 before wine.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? And you have only 4 tables.
Oh, yeah.
That's it's really good money, and people. But the other side of that coin is you're working nights, you're working holidays, you can't just can't you just come to this party Friday? But if I just come to this party Friday, I'm literally losing fucking $700, whatever it is, and those are my hours. I never asked you to take the day off to hang out with me, but people have no problem asking you to take time off to do weekend stuff, and forget relationships. If you're not in a relationships prior to meeting somebody, or the other person isn't also in the restaurant relationship,
or at least understand it.
Even understanding.
Well, I would say
there'll be understanding to it, but after that 3rd or 4th month in a row where you told them you'll never be around on a Friday and Saturday night, and they said they understood, but after 3 months of you not being around, it's a different game.
I think I'm just so used to it because I've heard comedians tales for so long, because I've heard the same thing from them that I'm just so used to it. I've always been in the restaurant game. I've always been doing weekends, and it's just been a part of it. And I feel like the gig.
Yeah, what's the fucking weekend? Is today a weekday?
I didn't know what day it was. Who gives a shit? That's how it becomes its own industry. That's why industry night. We used to go out on Sunday nights and Monday nights. And you would go out and you'd see all the other waiters and bartenders from the other bars. It was this cool little underground scene that only you were aware of was even going on. Because some of the regulars would come in on a Sunday and Monday night. They wouldn't even know what was going on. They're like, oh, is this a bachelorette party? No, bitch. It's our fucking Friday. Fuck out of here. We don't even want you here.
Yeah, I was always a huge, huge fan of restaurants closed Sunday and Monday. So I guaranteed those 2 days off every week.
Yes.
Sunday was just and then Monday, I guess it doesn't really matter nowadays because everything's on the phone. But back on Mondays, you could go to the bank and do other shit. You'd have a day where there was always a parking spot, and you could go to the movies if you wanted to. You just have a weekend day and a day off, midweek day off, But.
Yeah, I what was I saying before? Oh, I just think people are more open to as people have started to work from home, their hours are no longer 9 to 5. So I feel like more people are open to just this lifestyle where, you can't work on weekends, or nurses and stuff. Not everybody's a teacher anymore. and not everybody's a 9-to-5 banker.
1,000%. Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. So yeah. Not everything's closed on Sundays anymore.
Yeah, it's less of a social taboo. I certainly feel like being like, oh, I'm a waiter and I just have this schedule. Maybe that was me before. Maybe 15 years ago, it was all in my head. But I don't know. I just thought it was because you were so drastically on a different time scale than everybody else. You were eating meals at different times. You were working on weekends, and that was when everything happened. If you couldn't go to a fucking football game on a Sunday because you were working, that was like, oh, you missed a big thing.
Yeah, you were working when you were providing the fun everybody else was having.
But now I feel like that's
working in a restaurant. Like you were working what everyone else was having fun.
Yeah, and maybe it's just me, but I don't have that FOMO at all. I feel like everybody is doing their own thing now because culture is so eroded.
I don't know. I think it's just, for me, it's just getting older.
But do you watch the movies that everybody's watching? I haven't watched a movie in 2 years.
I couldn't even tell you what's in the theater. Like, I don't know what's,
Nothing. No music. Like, there's no radio to listen to. So
no,
there used
I don't
to be
listen
this
to the
culture
radio.
where at least when you would go to a restaurant, there would be pop music on. That was the music of the time. But that doesn't even happen anymore. We play old music. Could you imagine in the 90s if we were walking around in a restaurant listening to music from the 50s and 60s? That's essentially what's happening now when we go into Village Tavern and we're playing pop music from the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, what do they call that? The Muzak?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But that's just background noise too, though.
True.
True. I bet more times than not, I couldn't name one song I heard in the restaurant walking out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We notice it because we're working there, so when we're setting up and it's quiet.
Stuck in our head
or like,
all the
fuck,
time.
this song's on again.
Yeah. That's a big one, is hearing the same song.
Same song. Or it's like, damn, it's been an hour and 15 minutes because this song's on.
I got 3 more of these Macarenas
rotations of this thing,
shift change. Hopefully I'm out on the patio so I don't got to deal with this shit again. Oh, man. What are some of the other things about it? Some of the characters we meet. I thought all the chefs were at the Village Tavern, were so well-behaved. Relative.
Yeah, I think...
Have you run into any hotheads?
I mean, chef, Yeah. But all the cooks I thought were great. But I find that's a thing of the past, like fucking... freaking out in the kitchen and stuff, I feel like it's more to business, you know what I mean?
Maybe those were like the cokehead chefs from the 80s that were still hanging around when I was starting in restaurants.
Coming up.
And they were just still so angry. I don't know.
But, I mean, well, I have, like, the place I was working up in Maine, like, I watched the head chef, like, make, like, a kid cry. He was probably 19. He was just like berating him. But that was more fine dining, so like there's a lot more in play there. I mean, the Village Tavern was, cheeseburgers. It was good food, but like, it wasn't like they were plating.
Yeah, I worked at a yacht club and we did weddings. So one time I dropped 10 filet mignons.
That's a lot of filet mignons.
In the center of the dance floor at like this woman's wedding. And there's nothing you can do.
So you were just going to a table. So, like, the kitchen was in the back right corner, and we'll say your table was in the front left, and you're cutting across the dance floor.
The ballroom dance floor.
Everybody's sitting at the table having fun.
Everyone's seated at a wedding.
Having
500 people in the ballroom, $40,000 in the middle of prime wedding season in June, Saturday night.
Wow.
And
so what happened? How did they...
So the way that we used to do it is we had these big trays, and everybody would have a tray stand, and you'd carry out 10 dinners at a time. And so there would be...
Would they be covered?
3 tracks covered.
Okay, yeah.
Covered. So if the cover didn't go on, one on the bottom, and they weren't
completely lined up. Yeah.
Because then you're walking and there's a little bit of bounce. And if one shifts as you're stepping and one... Oh, that's it. It's Jenga. And maybe you can catch one dinner and save one prime rib if you can matrix it on the way down.
Yeah, or catch it in your hand. But wow. So, do they bring, like, I've never worked catering.
Yeah.
So like,
catering,
do they bring an extra like 20 prime rib, just God forbid,
in case something happens? So this is a place that's big enough that they're doing multiple events in the same place, and they had a restaurant.
Oh, so it's not like
they
you're
had
going
backup.
out in places.
Correct.
Like I see.
So
like,
this place happened to have backup, just the restaurant that I worked at.
Just because they had so much going on. Like,
Yeah.
I got
so
you.
there was enough wiggle room where we could figure some shit out.
It's only got to be 15 minutes, but like we can get some more mashed potatoes, carrots, green beans, and prime rib.
But Uncle Steve's eating a reheated prime rib from yesterday, and it's going to be cold, and he's getting green beans instead of the fucking potato medley, and he's not getting the sunflower, because I just fucking swept that into the bathroom so you guys
only
can
had
do
exactly
the worm
200
later.
of those. Yeah.
The edible orchids that we put on the fucking plates.
Were they cool about it, though? Like the wedding party?
Those people? So I have a move that I had picked up from watching other people.
What is a move of dropping 10? Probably like
the only thing you can do is bow, because you have all the attention in the room. So when
that's a good move.
I had seen other people do it successfully, and then I did it, and my boss did not have the same response. When I came back, like, I bowed like everybody else, right? That was pretty good. Do you see him clapping there? Everybody clapped. He's like, "You fucking 10 meals, get the fucking."
But were the people cool for the most part?
The people were cool because I guess the bow worked for them, but it didn't work on my boss.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's it. Is cutting the tension.
Shit happens, man. You're at the wedding, everybody's having a good time. Like, what the, time plays.
They're drinking.
Food sucks at weddings anyways, dude. Like, the best thing I could happen to my prime rib at a wedding is fucking falling on the floor.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's just like, it's hospital food.
There's a couple of those stories where I've dropped a few things. Luckily, I haven't had too many.
No joke, man.
Bad ones.
Especially if people back up without looking. If you're going those tight spaces and and dropping that like on a table, like God forbid, like that could be real bad, man.
Thank God I didn't do that. We would load them up too because you didn't want to make that many trips, right? It's how much work do you want to do? I want to walk in there one time.
Everybody, if you can bang out 10 people at one time, why wouldn't you?
And you're fucking 17, 18, 19 years old. You don't know shit.
It looks really hard, but I find little practice and is granted, they're all stacked correctly. Like they're pretty easy to carry once you get the hang of it, like the balance,
the weight distribution.
And like sometimes like you can move your hand a little bit to go with, like, it's almost like rocking the boat, and it's like the top of the a skyscraper that is built to move with the wind. Like sometimes you're gonna move and you're just gonna be able to move the tray with you.
It was. Sometimes you'd slide a little, like I'd step on something on the dance floor, like a wet spot, and if you had everything stacked correctly, you could slide with it. It was great. It was like a little part of the dance, man. But that's all assuming that you stack things correctly, because, with those covers, those trays.
How long did you do that work?
So I worked at that place for 10 years. I started as a dish kid, and then I worked through the kitchen up until I was 18 and I could serve alcohol.
So that's where you made your bones.
Yeah.
Like that was the spot.
I say 14 to 24. So
wow.
10 years. That was like my life. And it was all those weekends as a kid, we're going out and doing this. It was always the FOMO of racing out to get that. Like, at 10 o'clock, I got to go catch up and have 6 beers, or fucking hit on the hottest girl,
Run out to the woods or catch up with your buddies, whatever's going on. Yeah.
Smoke the joint, I got to smoke half the joint because I got to catch up. But that, once you become semi-mature and you get over FOMO because you realize nothing's going on ever, and if you are bringing the energy to the restaurant, then you just fucking bring the energy to the party, motherfucker, and the party starts with you.
Yeah, and I always had, a lot of fun on Sunday nights. Like going on Sunday nights used to be like my favorite night of the week to go out, or like.
It was so much better than being out with everybody and being cramped and not being able to get a drink at the bar. Do you remember those places being packed on Friday and Saturday nights where you were making your fucking bones for the week? You're going to make all your money on one night.
Those 2 nights. Yeah.
And if you ever went out on those nights, it was just like, yeah, you're out with everybody and it feels cool, but also it sucks. The experience sucks because you can't have the whole place to yourself with your friends.
That's what, no, 1,000%. That it's just like, yeah, you're waiting in line for drinks.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
When a place is that busy, there's no distinction between one place and another.
No.
Like one packed bar looks exactly the same as another packed bar.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, let's go to this place. And it's like, what's the difference? You know,
people love going to the movies on Friday night till you've gone to a Tuesday at 10 a.m. showing. When you have the place to yourself, it's a different experience.
Big fan of a solo movie experience.
Oh, so great to go to the movies alone.
Yeah.
It's so nice. At 10 a.m., you can pick whatever seat you want to go in. If you don't like it, man, get up. Switch seats.
Just move,
Yeah, just get up. There's nobody talking behind you. There's no kids kicking your fucking seat. You want to get up and go to the bathroom, you can get up and go, come right back. You didn't even miss nothing. 30 seconds, just like that.
They pause it for you.
There's a whole beautiful side to the restaurant industry that you're exposed to by being on the opposite schedule as other people.
Yeah.
And back when everybody was on that fucking schedule, it was great because you had more stuff to your own.
But, I mean, I guess that's like working in a tourist town such as Salem. I guess that's what's really cool is I had never worked in a restaurant where I could make Friday, Saturday night money on like a Tuesday afternoon.
It's so weird.
Tuesday shifts were better. Like, day shifts were better than night shifts there.
Doesn't make sense.
No, but it's just like the
industry-wide, the complete opposite from the whole other
everything
industry.
I've
Only
ever
seasonal.
known.
I could only imagine seasonal day shit, like beach clubs maybe in Florida. Also, I don't know. I don't know anything else like it.
Yeah, no, I've never experienced it. I mean, it's awesome. You know, I got no beef with it. I guess I started in July, and it was 4th of July was my first day there. And
I was a month behind you.
It was just bananas before, so I don't know. Hopefully, it gets as busy in June. Or busy in June. Like, I don't know when the season will pick up. I don't know if it's right after, like, Memorial Day.
The thing is, it all feels like pickup because we're so dead right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just go walk around in restaurants in Salem downtown now, and you'll see it's a ghost town.
Oh, just even walking down Essex Street. It's like the difference between the summertime and no. Yeah, there's nobody.
Same place where you can't move because there's so many people.
But it's nice too. It's nice having like the town to yourself, kind of.
Yes.
You know, being able to walk around. It's yeah.
I say I couldn't imagine. I guess I've been here for this 2012. It's 2025 now, basically.
It's a long time.
Yeah. So I say I couldn't imagine living anywhere else because I'm so used to the wave coming at you kind of in the summer. It like slowly starts coming at you. And then like next thing you know, it's the middle of September, October, and you're in the middle of it. And there's just slammed traffic everywhere. I'm so used to that grind. But yeah, this is the nice, quiet part of it.
Yeah, the other side of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if that money was there year-round, you know.
We wouldn't be able to sustain it, though. I mean, you were breaking down at the end of October, too.
I was breaking down bad, yeah.
But you went into it. That's where I've learned to... I'm not greedy anymore. I'm not greedy. I'm not going in trying to make the most...
Yeah, I just saw the money, and I was like, if this is only... like, because... She had told me, you know, once Halloween hits, we might have an extra week. But after that, like, that's a wrap. And I was like, if that's the case, like, it's going to suck. But, like, strike while the iron's hot, you know. And I made a lot of money. You know, it was great. You know, I was able to, like, get ahead on a lot of bills, which was great. But like...
The smart way to do it. You've been doing this long enough. You do things smart now.
Yeah, but like I don't know if I'd want to do that again next year.
Okay.
It was
all right. Sweet.
Yeah, it was just a lot, man. You know, I guess it's just like anything else. It's like risk reward. You know.
Oh, you mean killing yourself wise?
Killing myself. Yeah. It's just
no. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. On your feet
for like 10 hours a day.
People don't understand that if they've never done it.
Stop moving. Do not stop at any point. Like in September, October. There wouldn't be an empty table all day. So it was just go, 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 go. And like trying to get water into you all day and like forget eating. You know, like maybe a couple bites of something here.
If you're lucky, that's out the window. water is a bare essential minimum if you get the opportunity, right?
But and I'd have to remind myself, and I'd be
6
like, holy
hours in.
shit, I haven't drank water in 4 hours.
Yeah, because you lose track of time
Yeah.
because your mind is going so quickly at that clip.
And it's like, oh yeah, I've had to pee for 4 hours too.
Oh, my God.
kidney hurts. I forgot it hurt.
Yes.
You just tune everything else out, and it's just go, go, go. Yeah, it's.
I ran machines for the Federal Reserve in the basement,
That's pretty cool.
regulating the physical money supply. So I would say that was somewhat similar, running a machine in a sense that you always have to be on, but nothing compares quite like to people asking you for things. That's the way that I describe it. Like, I just have to say yes to people. Hey, can I have some ice? Yeah, sure. I'm going to go get that for you. Like, oh, would you like some ketchup? Yeah, let me go get that. Like, oh, you want a steak? Let me go get that.
It's
yeah.
never no.
Yeah, it's always
whatever
something.
you want. Like,
so I'm just a task rabbit, like a micro task rabbit, where I'm just trying to remember ketchup, salt, Coke, medium rare. And then, like, you switch that up to a whole
one
different...
ranch, one blue cheese.
Yes, yeah.
And then you go back to the table and like, here you go. And somebody's like, on second thought, I will have another Coke. It's like, of course you will, motherfucker.
And that is easy for an hour.
Yeah.
8 hours into that, 7 days in a row.
You're going to really hate yourself.
Oh, and that's where the greediness really does start to grind you down, and you start waking up in the middle of the night like, fucking baked potato. I fucking forgot to get a baked potato for that guy.
I certainly had those dreams. Yeah.
And you feel like a dick a little bit, and then you try and just be like, shake it off.
But I don't know. It's just a job. At the end of the day, it's cool. But like you said, I think what's really great about it is like, it's the same wherever you go. Like, it's
There's
a
always
trade.
another.
You're always going to be able to, like, if you can do it, there's always going to be a job for you. Somebody's always looking for a server. Like,
I'm
it's
never
always
worried about, like, if this guy kicks me out of his restaurant, am I never going to be able to deliver a steak to a table again?
Have a job within a week.
Yeah.
You will. You'll have a job
I
within
might
a
be
week.
rolling
Yeah.
a burrito at fucking Chipotle for a couple of weeks until I get to, like, legal seafoods again. But, like, I'll be somewhere.
If
Like,
you want to work, there's always
Bloomin' Onion. I'll put on that Aussie accent. I'll be shipping those beers, mate.
That's where I worked for like about a year. I was at the Outback.
No way,
Yeah,
dude. That's
this was
awesome.
back when like
For
probably
about a half a year, I was
2008,
in the Outback.
2008. When Outback was like still a step above like Applebee's and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
when there were
still good.
tiers to those restaurants.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was, I feel like Outback was like cream of the crop.
Definitely top level.
And Chili's was definitely above like Applebee's. And
Applebee's is bottom of the, because that little Ribulets commercial, I don't know, they had a couple of commercial misses maybe.
I don't know, just thought Applebee's, and what's the other one that I just
Fridays.
Like?
TGI Fridays
not a
was
big fan of.
bottom of the barrel. I can get those mozzarella sticks in the frozen food section at Stop and Shop, and I can make those myself at home. Therefore, you cannot be that much better out
You're
of this
there for the
restaurant.
ambience, though, you know?
This is some sort of gimmick that I can see through even in the early 2000s.
But
But Outback, they'd still had it. We hadn't seen enough Australian people with an accent yet. We had just enough time in between the Crocodile Dundee and like...
I made good money at the Outback.
Yeah.
Man. Friday, Saturday night, they'd be in. What was great about the Outback, they weren't open for lunch.
Oh, I
They
didn't
opened
know
at
that.
4 o'clock. So, and they opened at like 2 on Sundays for like the after church crowd. But every other day was 4
the
o'clock.
quality of their meats, their steaks, good enough?
Yes, at that point, I thought like they were great steaks.
I thought they were the best. Like I thought they were up there with all the other steak places.
Everything was made in there.
When I would get baby back ribs from the Outback, I thought they were delicious. I would get baby back ribs from Chili's, whole different, bottom of the barrel.
I don't think I've ever had them for Chili's.
Yeah,
Granted.
whole different experience. That's how I tiered my restaurants.
Your baby back ribs.
Yeah,
Huh?
I baby back ribbed them. But and I only had 2 tiers.
I was good. It's a very short list.
I know. Well, do you remember Bugaboo Creek?
Yes.
Bugaboo Creek had baby backs. There used to be 3.
They're not around anymore, huh?
There might be one like hiding out somewhere in like upstate New Hampshire or Vermont.
The original one's still there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're all gone.
Yeah, we had one in the Braintree where I grew up. It was a Bugaboo Creek. And it was there for a long time.
I never worked chain restaurants. always independent mom and pop shops. I worked multiple states, multiple countries, always mom and pop shops.
Now, you've waited tables in Australia.
I say I was a bartender in Australia because I hopped behind the bar a couple times and the fucking the bartender like trained me on the taps and shit. Like so sometimes I think once or twice I was a bartender in Australia, but I like figured out enough ways that it was different that I just told people.
Okay. No, what's
nobody ever called me on my shit.
You just outed yourself? That's fine.
I don't care.
Now, would you tip down there?
No.
Okay, so like
he would get paid $25. I was working at a bank. I was actually working for the National Australia Bank in the collections department.
Is that why you went down there to work in a bank?
No, I was studying.
Okay. Oh, was it just a semester abroad?
Semester abroad.
I got you.
So I got a job at a bank, and I was...
You were a semester abroad. Why the fuck did you get a job?
Because my teacher in high school... I was looking for jobs in the restaurant industry. I wanted to work while I was abroad. I wanted to work in an Australian restaurant. I thought it'd just be a cool experience.
That would be an awesome experience.
And I'm thinking it's like they get tipped like us, so it's like the same industry. And it's no, it's not like that at all. But I knew I had a math teacher whose brother was in Australia working at a bank. He might have a friend at a restaurant. I didn't know that he was like the director of the bank. And he could pull strings to get me a job in a bank, and he didn't know anybody at any restaurants, and he couldn't do any of that.
No, but I guess I could see that. But like the one person I know in this country, like,
yes.
What's it gonna hurt to like reach out?
Yeah, and see if you know anybody at that fucking has an Italian place.
And was he just like, yeah, don't go to the restaurant, but how do you feel about working in our financial?
Well,
institute?
he's like, well, what are you studying in university? Like, what are you studying in college? I'm like, well, economics with a concentration in financial markets. He's like, well, how about you just work for my bank?
Did you like it?
Not at all. I was working in collections coming out of the Great Recession.
So were you just on the phone all day calling people like, hey,
Dude, not even. So eventually it was so hard for him to pull strings. Like he was this CFO of this massive top 25 largest banks in the world. And there were so many visa regulations and shit. Eventually they were like, fuck this. We're just going to put him on the roll, register, and we're going to hire him for the collections department. They'll find something to do, but technically he's not going to be working through this, that, and the other thing. So I had to go.
Oh, because
they have
student
employment
visa?
Agencies too, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the way employment works, the way that we just apply for jobs, they go to employment offices. They're wicked socialist. So it's nice to have education and healthcare paid for, but they don't tell you that there's a couple of other things that come with it.
So what do you mean by like, so you just can't like...
I can't go to National Australia Bank and apply for a job there.
So you have to go to like a
Recruiting
staffing agency.
Yes.
But like, do you tell them what job you want, or do you just tell them what you can do, and they
tell
just
them what you can
pick
do,
your job
and
for
they
you?
pick your job for you, and they're the middleman employment. So I went to these staffing agencies, and I'm like, hey, I work for the National Australia Bank, and they're like, we'll tell you who you work for. Take a typing test.
That's wild, man.
And so I went to 3 of these places and took their typing tests, and I'm talking to the CFO of the bank too. In the background, I'm talking to the CFO of the bank, and I'm like, I don't know. These people, like, they're not letting me work for you. And he's like, I don't get it either. Let me pull some strings. And eventually they're like, it's your visa, and you should never have gone to these staffing places. They're all trying to get you a new job. You already have a job.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
so you have
wild.
to go through our hired fuck faces.
Oh.
So then his fuck faces called me, and I had to do their typing test, and they're like, now you're matched up with our bank because you didn't go through our
staffing agent. I see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I didn't figure out their scam. It's all a scam everywhere, and you just need to be in on the scam.
You were just a dumb American.
Yes,
you know, they
and
got
I
you.
hadn't figured out how their thing worked.
And they got you.
Yeah, so I don't know. They have my social security number at a couple places in Australia. They're still looking for jobs for me, but I had one.
That's wild, but yeah.
And then, so the whole time I'm telling this other guy at this bar that I'm a shit-faced drunk at 19, so I'd never been able to drink abroad.
Oh, okay.
So I'm also having my first taste of alcohol.
Bananas. Like,
going bananas. And he's like, you're a bartender? Like, sure, hop behind the bar. And I'm fucking doing drinks for people. And then some nights he'd close the bar, and I would just do drinks for him. And we just, because there was nobody there, he's just like, fuck it. And I'm going to have 10 of my friends come over, and you're the bartender now, bud.
No, so... He just got paid a flat, like, hourly salary.
Yeah.
Or he got paid for a night. He'd get, like,
Yeah, $25, $30 an hour.
Okay.
an hourly rate.
But that's it.
And you wanted to do a good job because you wanted to keep that job. It's hard to get. To be the bartender, you're the cool guy, dude. You're the cool guy no matter what. Even if it's an empty bar, even if it's an empty bar, that bar is going to be full at some point. You're going to be the cool guy behind the bar.
No, absolutely, yeah. And
it's a wicked easy job to sit there and not pour drinks for 4 hours too and get paid $30 an hour.
Yeah, and I guess if you don't know any different, they've never had tipping.
Never had
tipping.
So
to them, that's just like how it is.
So you're not a construction worker and they're paying $25.
Right?
So it's like the whole way you look at it is those are prime jobs that you don't want to lose.
So you're doing a good job because you want the cool shifts too.
Yeah, I want to be working Friday night. Who wants to be working Monday morning? Because then you got the lunch drunks.
Amount of money.
Yeah, it's the same amount of money. So you got lunch drunks. So you're putting up with.
I love daytime drinkers though.
Yeah, I know, but it's just different. It's like so it's looked at a whole different way.
No, that's
because tipping's not.
But I guess that makes sense because that was my big concern. I forget what prop it was on the ballot this past November of getting rid of tipping.
Massachusetts is trying to get rid of tipping, and that's just an elaborate scheme to fucking put restaurants out of business because they can't operate their margins.
It's so thin. It's like if they had to pay us minimum wage on top of it, unless you're working at a smoking restaurant. But even still, and I would tell people, like, if you want the experience you get at Dunkin' Donuts every morning to be the same you get at your favorite restaurant, vote yes on that. Because that's what's going to happen. Because they're going to go, okay, we'll give minimum wage is $17. We'll hire waiters at $20 an hour.
Well, there's going to be no waiters. We're going to put an electronic box on the machine, and you're going to order yourself the same way that McDonald's is doing it.
I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen eventually.
Well, if they could create the environment themselves, they'd already be doing that.
But if they have like boxes and they just have food runners, they just pay minimum wage too, and they clear off the tables, they bring like sodas and the food when it's ready.
I've noticed a few of these. I don't know if you've seen them yet. There's a place in Burlington called Pressed Cafe. They're a chain, and they are quick service, sit down dining, but like no waiters. So you walk up to a register, you pay.
It's at the counter, okay.
At a counter. You take a number, and you go sit down, and they'll deliver your food to you. And you still have a sit-down experience, but there's no waiter, but they drop off your food to you.
I got what you're saying.
So it's like this weird
there's
mix.
No drink refills or like no
There
dessert.
is. You can go do that yourself.
But no, I'm saying you have to do it yourself.
You got to go do that shit.
Yeah, but
I feel like from an economic perspective, the restaurant's trying to capture as much of the money as they can, and now they're just trying to get rid of people. The quicker that they can do that, they're going to do it.
Sure, but I feel that some restaurants too, like, I find people are always going to want a waiter or a waitress because, like, people are always just going to be wanted to be waited on.
The thing about society is people need to feel better than someone. And if you put a robot there, I don't feel better than anybody. Who am I going to look down on, motherfucker?
1,000%.
I need to be taking my date somewhere so that she knows I'm not the one getting the food. Even that's something that we still do because I still take my girl out for meals.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Because it's an experience. It's different. And I'm not saying that we are feeling better than, obviously, we're the people doing the thing, so we don't feel better than ourselves. But it's just a different experience, and you're not going to get that with robots. And it's going to be different if people don't greet you at the table and they're just dropping your food off and you're, Yeah,
or like you just, I've had, given people real good experiences and people like, you really made our grandmother's 90th birthday party. And it's just like, what did I do? Like I just didn't, but like some people like, everything they want, they get, sometimes before they even ask for it, you just be good at your job.
Have you, that's one thing I noticed right off the bat is it's so clear in the industry. Once you've worked in the industry, right when you come into the restaurant, I'm sure you know who works and who doesn't.
Oh, 1,000%. Like just looking around,
Because you can see things in the room, what's done, what's not done. Even in a new restaurant, when you walk into a place for the first time, you start picking up on, that's where they drop the plates off, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Like, I suck to go out to dinner with. Like, my girlfriend hates it because I'm just like, oh, the waiter didn't do this. They could have done this.
Yes.
Like, oh, what's going on over there? Well, they should be doing this. And she's like, shut
These
the
two
fuck
are dating.
up.
These two are fucking. I'm pointing that out all the time. Look at the sexual
used
tension.
to fuck.
Yeah. This bitch wants to cut that guy's throat. I don't know what's going on there.
She's probably keyed his car.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he's back with her.
And this guy hasn't. This guy needs to smoke a cigarette. Look at how many times he's itched his fucking throat. Oh yeah, he's coming down off something, or he had a long night. You can smell something coming off somebody. There's just so many things you can see through.
Yeah, that shirt hasn't been washed in 4 days.
Oh yeah, this is the 5th time he's done that. He just got laid. Sometimes you see those faces and you're like, I shouldn't see that face coming out of the bathroom. What was that? Bartender's got too much of a smile here. That's nothing. I haven't seen that in a while either, but I've seen that before. People sneaking off. Do you smoke and work? Is that one you do? Do you drink or smoke and wait tables?
I can't like smoke weed and wait tables. I can't. Like I smoke weed before I do pretty much everything in life. But yeah, I just get weird waiting tables. Like I'll be at the table and I'll just be two in my head. I'm like, am I acting weird? Like are they acting weird? Like does he know I'm acting weird? You know, like then I'm overthinking things. So like my memory isn't as good. So I start dropping the ball. Like going to the table with the honey must be like, oh, we wanted a ranch too. Just small things. Like it just doesn't work for me. I can't work.
Same thing. I cannot smoke weed, and I don't understand how anybody waits tables and smokes weed, and everybody does it seemingly around us all the time. 100% of the time people are looking to smoke and do it, and
especially
I don't understand how they don't forget things.
The vape now that like you don't even have to
Everyone
go outside
has
to smoke
one. It's like a
joint.
fucking pacifier.
Yeah, it was wild that seeing that over the summer, like all those people just getting stoned all day, and it's just like once again, God bless them. I just can't do it.
I can't do that at all.
I've worked blacked out drunk. I can do that. You know, like
me too.
Yeah, like those Saturday afternoons where you go for a couple beers before work and a couple turns into a couple more. The next thing you know, it's like, fuck, we got to go to work.
That's always, because that will happen. You'll notice that everywhere you work, that someone will come in, and because it's that environment where you just think it's like, oh, I can just do this even though I'm shit-faced. Some people can, some people can't.
And some restaurants, believe it or not, are like will look the other way. If you can show up and do your job, they don't give a fuck what condition you're in. You know, you just shot a bag of smack. Like, dude, as long as like, you know, you can do what you need to do. Like
I had one experience where it was again before I could even fucking drink. We went out we were doing a double, and we went out drinking in between. Slammed, I don't even know how many beers, a couple shots. My first time ever doing shots at a bar. So, and then we go back, and so it's events. So you'd set up the event, and then you'd go wait for a couple hours.
Oh, okay, like tablecloths and like
yeah.
Okay, so it's
and
like
it was a prom, and it was a buffet, so not a lot to do.
Those are gonna be pretty sweet gigs. The buffets, like you just going around clearing plates,
especially at 19 because you're their age.
Yeah. So, oh damn. Yeah. Did that ever work out for you? Like, did you ever hook up with a friend?
I got a couple numbers, but never anybody I pursued. I think I was dating somebody, or whatever. But and then some girl. We're all sitting around, and some girl's like, "I got this bottle of vodka in my trunk. I've been trying to get rid of." So we all sit around and just crack this bottle and crush the bottle.
Between setting up and like doing what you have to do.
After setting up, before we have to deliver the food.
And then you've got a couple hours to kill, or like some time.
Yeah,
like
hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
So we've slammed 6 or 8 beers and a couple shots in between shifts. Now we came in, we dropped a couple of forks down and like a glass of water, and now we're waiting for the kids to come in and take their pictures. We're gonna put chicken fingers and French fries in the buffet trays, and they're gonna come
light all the sternos, all that stuff.
Okay. So now we go back and sit outside for an hour and a half to just fuck around. People smoke cigarettes. We would dip.
Just killing time, sure.
This girl whips out a fucking liter of vodka. That's gone within a half an hour. That's the end of my night. As far as I remember, that's all I remember until the next morning when I wake up and I come into work. I don't fucking know what happened. And so I come into work and the manager's like, sweet dance moves yesterday.
Oh, I thought you was gonna be like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
We fired you last night."
I didn't know, and I'm like, sweet dance moves, cool. Like, go find somebody I was working with. Like, walk past 3 other managers. They're like, you were crushing it last night. Like, wow, yeah, buddy.
Oh, because it was prom.
It was prom, and I'm like, no idea. And walking into a workplace and having no idea what happened, and like, never mind. This is the first time I've ever driven home. Have no recollect. Like, I'm 19. So I don't know what's going on.
You were
and
prom a year prior.
so somebody's like, oh, yeah, you were fucked up. Like, we took the plates off your table. I don't know who you were working with. Like, we had partners. So I had a partner who took my tables.
Just fucking.
But we're bringing the food out. And you might have brought food to the buffet. Like, I'm not sure. But the DJ caught on that you were fucked up. So all the kids are in line, and they are all egging you on, and you're dancing in the middle of this kid's prom dance floor, just fucking cutting up a rug. As these kids are going through the dance floor, you're high-fiving people, and I don't know, like, what the fuck? Eventually, you walked around and you didn't do anything all night, like, but you were here and then you were gone.
But
and
you
then
pulled it off, like, yeah.
Pulled it off. That was the end of my drinking and waiting tables.
Yeah, it's it can get out of hand quick because it's the environment of people, like.
And you can see it too. I mean,
it's